Whitt Acres. It is time for another weekly garden tour here at the property. We're going to be doing week 11 garden tour here. I got my V8 Energy and I'm ready to go. This time I'm going to take my snips in a basket around because I noticed some things that need to be harvested today. It finally rained here after a long dry spell, hot and dry spell, so it was much needed rain. But there's a few things out there that need to be harvested. And some of the tomatoes need picked because they might split being close to ripeness and just getting a little rain that we just got. We'll show you what's getting harvested and we'll show you what's blooming. Come on. I already harvested some okra, so I have some okra here that I will be trying later. But we're gonna go ahead and grab a basket and go harvest. You ready, pup? Come on. The ramp bed's still looking nice and full. Pup. It's looking good with the gladiolas blooming coming down to the garden. We also got that big volunteer sunflower started to bloom. There's some zinnias in there blooming. The marigolds are blooming. And I got a giant nasturtium full bloom. But the garden's looking real full right now. The raised bed's all packed in there, all filled up. Got another smaller sunflower here blooming. And yep, the bees found it. Alright, pup, we'll play with you. So yeah, the garden's looking pretty good right now. Sunflowers volunteering. And all the lush green. Gorgeous. Noticed this morning I had a zucchini that's definitely ready. Come in here with the snips, try and take just the stem, and I'll twist her off the rest of the way. It's a nice big zucchini. Could probably even harvest that one, would be an edible size, but I'm gonna leave that go for now. Some of the onions have broke their necks. If you didn't see our onion harvest video, go ahead and check that out. But I did leave some in here because they weren't quite done ready yet. But I am gonna also some onions here ready to be harvested. If you didn't see our onion harvest video, go check that out. But I'll get some of these that are clearly done growing. They got their necks snapped on them, so they won't be putting on any more size. Just go ahead and wiggle them out. Get some of these onions picked. Mostly the white ones. The red ones are still holding on for the most part, except for that one. Okay, moving on. But first, here are some of my bulbing onions that I multi-sowed for spring onions. I did not end up picking all of them, so they're trying to bulb up. I'll go ahead and pick them now because we could use some salad onions. These are actually a good size because they did start bulbing up. Shake off the dirt. Get a good handful of red salad onions. I got tons of ground cherries all through there. I pick them occasionally for my salads, but I really don't like the taste of them fresh. I got some Ace 55 tomato in there. It's getting close. I'm gonna go ahead and pick that. That's what I'm talking about. I don't want that splitting, so that'll finish ripening on the counter. I have another big zucchini in here ready. Try and reach in here and snip that. There we go. The kohlrabi is bulbing up. It's probably woody, I don't even know. I didn't like the one that I harvested. And yeah, I don't know about kohlrabi. Got some radishes here that I forgot to harvest. Look at those. Those are some, jeez, The crazy radish. It's having little baby radishes. That's crazy. That'll go to the compost. Those are probably all woody by now. Some more radishes in there I need to pull out. Here's a little bed of basil, marigold, and carrots. Let's see if there's any carrots in here. Look at that little baby. So it might be a little early on these carrots. Probably let these go. Yeah, I'll let these go into the cooler weather, see how they go. They can get bigger than that. It's got a ton of Mexican sour gherkins, little cucamelons. They are all over. So I'll pick some of these. There's a bunch. They're real small. They're like tiny watermelons compared to a golf ball. Tiny. I got some carrots here in my square foot garden bed. Oh, that one broke. Let's see. There we go. It's a decent carrot there. You can see the shoulders on some of these. They are pretty good size. I'm gonna have to dig these out a little bit because that's not working. Like I said, it's been real dry here, so it looks wet, but that's just the top layer. The soil's pretty dry. Coming into the in-ground garden, I know there's a pretty decent sized zucchini on right there, and I think there's some more in here. Yeah, we got another couple good zucchinis in here. Two of them side by side. We got another one laying in there. And I got some yellow squash back there if you can see it. So I'm gonna try and get these out of there. Okay, we got 4 more zucchini. Some perfect size, a couple a little bit bigger. I got 1 yellow squash out of back there, which is just perfect, actually. Yeah, we're gonna let that zucchini go. Nice jungle of squash right there. What are you doing in here, puppy? So you can see I let my cabbage go. This one's probably still good. If you take some of these outer layers off, you can see it's still a good ball cabbage in there. And this one, look at that. I got 10-inch hands. And I think that's about a 9-inch cabbage. Maybe 10 inches down there in the center. That's Copenhagen market cabbage, and I let it go to see how big she'll get. So hopefully I'll get some sauerkraut out of that one yet. I'm gonna leave her on though. Let her absorb some of this rain, because we want cabbage nice and moist when we harvest. I'm gonna finally let this broccoli go to seed, go to flower. I ain't worried about it. I'm done harvesting broccoli. I got some eggplant down here that looks like it's time to harvest. Something's trying to gnaw on this one. There's 2 good sized eggplants there. That's probably 10 or 12-inch eggplant, and it will produce some more, so I'll go ahead and get these off of here and let the plant keep growing. Now I definitely have some tomatoes in there to harvest, and maybe even some peppers, but my basket's full, so I got to get another one. Hop pop. Yeah, okay, new basket. I got my red onions hanging here to dry, looking gorgeous. My garlic still out here. We've been harvesting top down. And I got my white onions out here drying. Just beautiful. Nice little flower pot. The vinca blooming. The bank is looking pretty good. Got this gourd, volunteer gourd wrapping around. Still don't know which one it is. But the flowers are just looking really nice out here. Big pop of color with the marigolds. And definitely the petunias. Big gladiola. Looking real nice. And those purple wave marigolds have a nice fragrance coming off of them. You can catch a whiff every so often. Okay, so we got a couple decent bell peppers here. Good size there. Pops right off. Get some of these. Good size, not jumbos, but a real good size. Good portion for a stuffer. Let's check over these ones. Okay, those are the 2 from those plants. So you can see we have a bunch of Brad's Atomic Grape to harvest here. I have one green grape that's ready. Okay, so I'm going to get all these Brad's Atomic Grapes that are ready. I like them a little bit underripe, I found. They have a little bit less tomato flavor, which is what I'm going for. So maybe you can try that if that's something you like. Some of these are already turning a little bit brighter green to yellow, and that's when they get more tomato flavor. Or bugs. Ew. Now we're going to head up to the food forest and see what's ready to harvest over there. We've got some giant purple zinnias out here bringing in the pollinators. They're starting to bloom on the island bank here. It is filling out nicely. Got the zinnias just coming into flower. There's some weeds back there that I need to pull out. They're bigger than anything. More purple zinnia. Some gladiolas still blooming. And of course that wave petunia. Beautiful. Scarlet runner bean is actually blooming pretty nicely too, putting on some buds. The gladiolas are getting beat up in the wind because we're getting some rain. Huh, puppy. It's getting windier out here. We'll take this path back to the food forest. Got some more zinnias. Sunflower's about done. And that firelight hydrangea and the abelia back there are looking beautiful. First thing I can see here at the food forest would be the blackberry, and it's getting ready. They just eat that. Yeah, that's good. Get a couple blackberries for the harvest trip here. I have more ground cherries here, and they're putting off a bunch, but like I said, I don't want any right now. Over here in the tomato row, we got some yellow pears that are ready. I haven't tried these yet. So my mom's been eating them, my dad's been eating them, but I haven't tried them yet. So I'll try these later. Got a ton more yellow pears coming though. And then these ones were the ones that I'm worried about splitting because of the rain. You can see it already has some cat facing on it, but I'm gonna harvest this. I don't know which one it is. It's a good size though. See how she ripens. Might be a, I don't know, Amana. I'm thinking it's an Amana, which is an oranger tomato. And then these ones, I think this is the white Tomasol with the ribs. I'm not sure what this one is. It's kind of elongated on a couple of them, but not sure. Yeah, this one is a double, and it's almost certainly gonna split if I leave it on and get all this rain. So that one's gonna go ahead and ripen inside, which will be fine. The rest of these I'm gonna leave on because they're pretty green yet. My tiny little hot pepper plants are putting on a bunch of peppers now. That's a cayenne type, and this is a very loaded down jalapeno. Look at that. That is just a layer cake. Jalapenos. Crazy. Yeah. This plant fell over early, and now it's just caked in them. It can't even stand up. Got more cayennes over here. I'm gonna let those turn red. Beautiful pollinator patch finally coming into bloom. Here's the okra that I harvested already. Got them off these two big plants. But we have some smaller okra coming in. And this one is actually what I see, about that size, getting eaten fresh. Okra has a hard stem though, so you want to bring your snips and cut it instead of trying to pull it off and damaging the plant. I'm going to try this one fresh, see how it is. I've never had okra before, but I don't use any sprays or chemicals in the garden. It's all organic, so I can just eat it right now without washing it. Not a lot of flavor. Definitely gets slimy as you chew it. A lot more slimier, and then you can swallow it. Not bad at this size though. Supposed to be really good for your gut health. So I'll try them. Looks like I have 3 sweet potatoes. Oh, maybe 4 sweet potatoes that survived. So we'll see how they do. I didn't water them over the last week that we didn't get any rain, but they're still alive, so they're fighters. We'll see how they do. They got their own patch right there with compost, so best of luck to you. We usually can find a strawberry in here. There's a red one. There's a red one. I gotta make sure I eat these because this bird netting's not real effective. Birds still get in there, punch holes in my strawberries. I got more coming. I planted that in way too much shade of this giant maple tree, so I'll move that into the sun next year. Ooh, a tomato. Here's an early girl tomato that looks like she's about ready. Like I said, I'm pulling these now because we didn't have a lot of rain for a while, and then we just got some rain, so I don't want them to split. I'm pulling them early, let them ripen inside. I got some beans ready too. Look at that. Getting some green beans. I think these are the Blue Lake bush beans, and I am finally starting to get some. I actually can pick a lot of these, it looks like. Yeah, green beans. Getting a bunch of them. I got to do some harvesting of those or they'll get too fat. I'm going to come down here to this end because on this end I'm growing lima beans, and I wanted to see if any of the lima beans were coming up. Oh yeah, they're there. They got to fatten up a little bit more. Past the bean row here, I have a random zucchini that gets a little bit too much shade as well, but she still produced a zucchini. I'll cut that off. Plenty of zucchini this week. Looks like my tomatillo here might be ripe. It's starting to push out of its paper. So yeah, never had a tomatillo before, never grew it, but it looks like it might be a ripening sign. I have to look into that. If you know, put it in the comments down below so I know. But these are my tomatillos. I've got 2. Oh, that's a ground cherry. Yeah, there's ground cherries in there. Tomatillos. Here's a regular tomato. And then huckleberry. And I got plenty of huckleberry. I need to harvest the huckleberry too. I think I have enough. I could probably make a cupcake or something with it. Over here are my row of Rutgers tomatoes, and it looks like I have one ready. I picked 2 of these last night already, and I missed one. That one's ripe and ready to go. These ones are falling over, but that's fine. They'll grow just fine. Ooh, there's another. I'm gonna actually pick this one too. That one's blushing. It's getting kind of big. I'm gonna leave it go. I got enough tomatoes right now. I'll risk it because that one's ready. Over here I have another green grape, which is it's got a bunch on there. I harvested a bunch of these early as well because they taste better to me without the tomato flavor when you harvest them early. So something to try if you don't like tomatoes, but I still want to eat tomatoes. I'm looking here on my San Marzanos to see if there's anything ready and ripe. I don't see anything from this side. Borage is looking beautiful. It's such a vivid color when you see it in person. Gorgeous. And then here's my few blueberries that I'll give you a view here. This one is a series of ripeness here. So you got them dark blue, purple, and then they start yellowing up and even turning a little orangish red, like that one, especially if they're not getting a bunch of sun. But I like these ones harvested a little bit early as well. They taste sour, almost like a blueberry. So yeah, blueberries is my favorite tomato this year. I've just decided that. I got a lot of these to pick. The bamboo marigolds looking good. got tall enough. It'll be in there, bug. Got tall enough so we could see it from the patio over there, so it's working out beautiful. It'll actually, oh, excuse me, it'll actually get pretty tall, probably around 10 feet as it matures in that spot. We'll start dividing that out probably, I don't know, whenever we find time. Did some weed whacking on the poplar bed so you can see the daisies poking out a little bit better and the sedum's coming up. The sweet potato and the petunia pots are doing real nice. We're doing another pup. All the hostas are pretty much finishing up on this row. But down here in the center of the yard, this volunteer sunflower is doing amazing. Got a volunteer wave petunia on the bottom, Japanese beetle trap. I got a lemon yellow petunia in the basket here with an African daisy. And then I have a very tall, little leaning a little bit, got some wind blowing there, sunflower that was volunteered right at the base of this shepherd's hook that I left in all winter. And it volunteered there, so I left it, tied it to the shepherd's hook to keep it tight, and now she's all on her own. She's past the shepherd's hook. That's all I can do for her. Good luck. The bank's looking really good from the back side as well. Plenty of color. Some volunteer cosmos right there. We got the zinnias and the marigolds all the way down. Plenty of color, plenty of pollen there, pollinating for the bees and bugs. Plenty of butterflies coming through. We also had another volunteer sunflower right here off the steps. And it's a little multi-headed sunflower, so we can see it from all angles. Just perfect. With a volunteer marigold down there at the bottom. Speaking of volunteers, I'll show you this one as well. A volunteer petunia coming up right in the gravel with a lot of nice colors. Look at that. Beautiful. We're gonna head around the pergola and see what we can find in here. Still got the silver lace vine covering up the archway beautifully. Starting to bloom up there at the top. Just beautiful. The dynamite, or the crepe myrtle, grape bellini, something like that. Grape bellini, grape bellini, bellini grape myrtle is looking good. And then I have this nice little pathway and a volunteer sunflower. Two of them actually. One back there is blooming. Come in here past the pumpkin on a stick that's getting real tall. A bunch of calendula that's blooming around my Mexican sour gherkins. I got more eggplant up here actually. See if that's putting on anything. Oh yeah, got a little baby eggplant in there. Putting on some food up here. I'm gonna leave those go. Here are my gourds. They're reaching up to the top of the pergola now. I gotta do some maintenance up there to get them all tucked in. I have more blueberries, tomatoes over here, so I can go ahead and harvest some of these. It's easy, I can harvest all of them. Some of them are really ripe, like those orange ones. My parents will eat those, and I'll eat the ones that are a little bit less ripe. Looks like my blue Hubbard squash might have gotten stepped on by the dogs or something, but it is struggling. This is the Crespo squash reaching out way over here, and it was looking just like that blue Hubbard the other day, all melted down and stuff, but with the rain it actually perked it right back up. So they'll actually cup their leaves, spin around, spin. They'll cup their leaves like that to decrease the surface area so they're not taking in as much heat and sunlight to conserve moisture. So don't worry on a hot day whenever it's doing that. They'll perk back up whenever it cools down. This squash popping out here has something on her. Nice little pumpkin with a big stem. A lot of pumpkins are coming in. I'll take you down to the squash mound here in a minute after we're done with the food and show you what's coming on for squash. This gherkin's doing a little curtain drop on the trellis. It didn't actually climb like I wanted it to. Over here we have a little potato cucumber. I'm gonna have to snip off. This is a potato cucumber. So I did try one earlier in the year, but it was a little bit hard skinned and tasted like a kind of lemony cucumber on the inside. So I want to try this again. I'm glad one kept producing. Let's see, I have another one up here, so hopefully I can get a couple more to really get a good idea what they taste like. Got more cucamelons all over the place. Coming inside the pergola, I got some grass here and some echinacea, but on the inside the gherkin's going wild, pouring in through here, letting weeds grow up. I have another random squash in here, and look, gherkins all over it. Gherkins everywhere. Gherkins probably is what's choked out my jelly melon over here. Not getting any jelly melon this year. But what I wanted to show you is the gourds are finally coming on. Look here. This is a nice big apple gourd. Got some dipper gourds up here. So I got to train these vines so they are all up on top of the trellis like that, and they can hang and support the weight of these gourds. Up here is an 8-foot sunflower just about to open. Volunteered up inside the pergola, so that's gonna look real nice when she opens up. Here we have some squash eggs. Look at that. Squash bug eggs. You can just wipe them off with your finger. Like I said, everything's grown organic here. All the food is grown organic. And look at that. Those are baby squash bugs. You want to just go ahead and squish them. Squash bugs get squished, or they'll just make more. Got more apple gourds getting produced over here. Fun thing about these gourds is once you get into August and they start getting the heat, they grow like crazy, and they produce prolifically. They just drop a bunch of gourds. Every arm sets a new gourd. You can see all the babies in there. Gorgeous. Speaking of gorgeous, a blue passion flower. The vine's growing nicely, getting it all the way up. Got a bunch more flowers to open, and I got the passion flower almost to the top of the trellis, turning out nicely. I grow vegetables all over the landscape, not just in the vegetable garden. So I'm going to head down to where I have my tropical kind of garden this year and see if there's any peppers growing. Out front here, the gladiolas are looking nice. And I'm going to come in here where I have my canna lilies, balloon flower. That's a bushel gourd coming out of there. But I also have elephant ear and peppers. So a little look in here, see if we can find pretty decent bell pepper. Look over here, got some jalapenos on there. So we'll keep on moving. Ah, spider. Keep on moving. And I got some banana peppers. We'll pop some of these bigger ones off. These are really just out here for decoration, but hey, if they're gonna produce me some peppers, I'll take them. So yeah, tropical garden. It's okay. It could be better. It will be better next year. Come over here to these extra gourds, or extra squash. Show you the datura flower. It's showing a nice bloom. It's like a soft pillow in there. And the seed pods look nothing but soft. And the seed pods don't look anything like soft. Spin around and you can see a volunteer watermelon popping up. We're gonna leave that go. It's definitely not ready. If we look up here, we can see the tree is kind of taking some form with some leaves. It's a dead lilac tree that I'm growing some gourds up it, and a purple hyacinth bean vine. So we'll see how that turns out once it gets a little bit taller. The front is looking pretty nice with the Rose of Sharon's all blooming and the marigolds all blooming. Looking real nice. Got that castor bean out back there looking beautiful with its big leaves. That'll probably go in my jungle garden, tropical garden next year. If you've been watching our videos, you can see that we took out the dying arborvitaes. So we cut those out and burned those so it doesn't spread any more mold. We're going to try and keep these ones for now. Maybe even move them to somewhere else on the landscape to try and keep them alive. Down here we got some petunias, some chameleon ground cover petunia, and a big watermelon coming on here. Looking nice. Look at her. Gorgeous. We'll see. Check the spoon. Spoon's still on it. Tendril's still green. We're gonna leave that watermelon grow. Talking about ornamental peppers, look at these. Covered. Not bad. And they're actually starting to change their colors. These are the ornamental Easter peppers, and they're doing their job. Looking good. Got a blueberries tomato in here as well. And yeah, probably has something ripe on it, but it's just there for decoration. I'll let the animals and wildlife eat those ones. Look at the dead tree growing some leaves. Get up there, gourds. Pups in the shade. These pots don't look good. Okay. Petunia's looking good out here in the front pot. That's the wave petunia. And in the front line up here, we got some French dwarf marigolds. We got a purple allium in the middle. And we got some French dwarf marigolds with a yellow red hot poker. Got some impatiens round in the corner. And they're just a big spot of color. Nice beautiful Rose of Sharon shaped up there in the front. And then the hosta garden that gets bathed in sun during the hottest point of the day. Still some of those are blooming. Nice. These ones all got bleached. They're not supposed to be that light. They are a lime green, but they got bleached with the sun. They are blooming. A lot of flowers on that one. Got the hemlock circle looking gorgeous. I got these annual burning bushes instead placed for a maybe future boxwood hedge. We'll see. I want to make a nice evergreen circle around here. Pup. You'd like that. You'd like that, pup. Trying to get the yard out here graded off after we lost that big maple tree. So we'll get some grass seed out here in the fall. Hydrangeas are looking beautiful. Love having those. Over here in the corner where I put my new bird bath is looking nice. There's a black-eyed Susan bringing in the butterflies. You see that butterfly? It's on the petunia actually. That's the Paradise Petunia from Proven Winners, bringing in the butterflies. Beautiful. You got the Russian Sage Blue Jean Baby still blooming, and another black-eyed Susan coming into flower here. I think this corner's looking rather nice. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments down below. This hedge here, right along the grass line, we've seen before, is that bright, vibrant pink coxcomb. And I got a massive hedge of it, about 100 feet long, going down the whole front side of the yard. Looking good. Rose of Sharon here is still blooming after being crushed by the big maple falling on her. She's blooming. Got a nice deep red rudbeckia in full bloom right here. I got some volunteer cleome spider flower blooming here, the little purple. I like it. Such an intricate flower, and I really enjoy the intricate flowers like that. Gorgeous. Got some woodland phlox there. Even have a bloom left on my lily. Hollyhocks, I'm still waiting to see if those are going to bloom. They look like they're all plump and ready. They're stretching out now. Might even have, nope, no color yet, but they're there. They look ready. Got the barberry in here, bright. Zinnia is starting to bloom, as the gladiolas and the crocosmia still in full bloom. They're holding on their own. We got some white daisies in the back and plenty of weeds. The hibiscus is finally coming into bloom here. You can see all the buds on her, completely covered. Finally getting some blooms. Nice big one. Alright, before we finish up this garden tour and it starts raining again, I'll take you down and show you the progress on the squash mound, because the squash mound's full. But first, so here is the squash mound this time of year, late July. You can see she's full, climbing over the fence even. Oh, there's my V8. If you've been watching, you know this is my watermelon patch, and it is completely overgrown with weeds. So I kind of failed this year in the watermelon patch, and it's growing all the way into the fence line here. Some bees in there. And it's growing out of the fence line into my walking path and over to my raised bed. So maybe I'll still get a watermelon, but I don't know. I'll have to go digging in there, and I'm gonna wait at least another week before I look for a watermelon. It's just a little early from zone 6A here. I have a squash though, you can see reaching all the way across there. I'm not sure which one that is yet. I only see male flowers. The female flowers have the little baby squash on them, so you can tell which ones they are, like right here. That is a little baby blue Hubbard squash. I got a gourd growing into my empress here. Got a big empress. Let me look in here. Okay, let's see what we got. Oh, we got a couple empress here sprouting out. That's no good. I'm gonna have to cut those out. I don't want more than one trunk. That'll cause problems. That'll keep her from growing straight up. I don't want them to grow straight. I cut this tree down at the beginning of the season in May. Cut it flush to the ground. You can see the stump right there. Cut it completely out. This is all one season of growth right here on a Royal Empress tree, Palamonium tomentosa. And we're right at about 9.5 feet, I'd say right now, with good 32-inch leaves all the way across. Gorgeous. Back to the squash. Got some yellowing leaves here. Not sure what that's from. Might be dry. Might be getting choked out by other things, and it might be bugs. I don't know. I can't really get into my squash mound anymore. It's pretty packed full, so it's just going to be a scavenger hunt in the fall. And I'm going to go around, try and find any gourds that haven't rotted off. Got some gourds and pumpkins right there. Got some gourds and pumpkins there. Got something that's white right there. So yeah, it's going to be a scavenger hunt here in the fall. What's that? Got blue Hubbard squash growing on the fence there. Speaking of growing on the fence, I got a squash growing up here, trying to force its leaf through the fence. Try and help her out. She ain't gonna fit in there. Okay, got another gourd. This is a gourd, and by the looks of it, snake gourd. You can see her dangling there. Different textured. Ooh, that one's growing through the fence. That's gonna pose a problem. Yep. That gourd's gonna grow straight into the fence and never come out, because it's already too fat on this end to put her back through. Oh well. This one as well is grown through the fence, but that stem should stay smaller than the fence hole, so that one will keep growing. Nice and long already. Cool snake gourds. If you grow them hanging up on the pergola, then they'll grow nice and straight. You grow them on the ground, you get cool twisty curves in them. This pumpkin gourd, I keep trying to push away from the fence, and it just keeps wanting to climb up the fence. There's a whole sea of Connecticut field pumpkins right here. Maybe about 6 of them. I can see a rotted one in there. See that? That's a rotted pumpkin. And what is that? Alright, we're gonna have to go in. There's something in there. There's something big in there. Okay, I can't actually get any closer, but we have a big pumpkin in there. Look at her. getting scratched up by a rabbit or something. That's no good. Look at her. She's a big one. That's probably a 40-pound pumpkin right there. I might have to get some sulfur out here for that scratch because I can't have a rabbit ruining my big pumpkins. I'm not getting any Atlantic giant pumpkins, so I'm hoping one of these Connecticut fields gets nice and big like that. But I can't get in there right now. It's too deep and I don't want to risk stepping on a stalk at this point in the year. I got some more pumpkins all the way out here. So I got some even orange ones out here. Oops, there's some orange ones. Oh, ladybug. So yeah, this is gonna be, like I said, a scavenger hunt in the fall. But it looks like I'm getting some fruit from my labor. Pumpkin, 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 pumpkin. This is gonna be a fun hunt. The pumpkin's over there. Alright, so I got some things growing in here. More than just pumpkins. There's some various types of gourds as well. But there's something there. I think that's a different type of pumpkin. But we'll see. We'll see what comes about. There's a bushel gourd, it looks like. Yeah, 2 bushel gourds. Alright, thanks for coming with me in the garden to see what's blooming and get some things harvested. I know there's going to be a lot of harvesting in that squash mound whenever the time comes. It's getting pretty windy out here and it looks like the rain's coming, so we're going to have to stop. And if you like what you see, go ahead and hit that like button down below and hit the subscribe button to be notified whenever I post a new video. Till next time, you can see me and Echo on the next one. Thanks for watching.